All right, so do you think
Pleasure.
that if they take action against the firefighters, that they would actually have a First Amendment claim that they are allowed to yell and scream at an event?
I dare them. Absolutely, they'd have a First Amendment right to yell and scream at the event. Look, their complaint is you don't have a right to take this event and make it political. The organizers made it political. What's Letitia James doing there but a political stunt? This is open to the public. Yeah, there are guys in uniform there. There are regular civilians there. Everyone has a right to express themselves at that moment. Booing a politician, if you can't do that as an American, then what it is to be an American has been redefined in some way that I don't recognize anymore.
So from your perspective, at any FDNY event, then members of the fire department can disrupt. Forget about fire department; it can be police department, it can be military, whatever it is. They can disrupt the event, yelling and screaming, whatever it is they want. If it's political in nature, your perspective is that then it's covered by the First Amendment and it's protected.
I think you don't like this speech, so you're trying to put words in my mouth. What I'm saying, this was a politicized event. And what were these firefighters doing there? They were supposed to be good little weeble guys sitting there looking cute for them. They were there at an event able to express themselves. Does that mean any old time? Yeah, during a funeral, could they start screaming and yelling and popping off booze? No, maybe not. But at this event, this particular event, in this particular way, absolutely, they had a right to do that. And I think that the way they're being treated is disgraceful. Well, I mean, these are firefighters.
Look, I happen to agree with you.
You're going to say they're going to come out and investigate them and track them down, turn yourself in for re-education, or we're coming after you.
Well, look,
I can't say in the time, place, and manner to say what I want to say about that wouldn't be on your show because I don't want to get you an FCC fine.
All right, well, look, there's no FCC in cable, so you're okay. But I will say this.
I'll show decorum.
I think it's a separate question for whether they should go after them. I think that they probably should let it go. They should probably just talk to them behind closed doors, say to them, look, please don't do that again, et cetera. That's a separate question from whether they can. And I think that this applies to any formal government-related promotion events, whatever it is. I don't care if it's left or right, yelling and screaming. The problem is what they're doing is shouting people down. And that's a problem, as far as I'm concerned, is when you're trying to prevent someone, which they were trying to do, prevent them from speaking, prevent them from being there. That's the cancel culture that applies on both sides. Final word.
I can assure you that if they had been chanting in support of her, this would not be happening. This was an event that they tried to politicize. They did not like the way that the firemen responded to that politicization. I think they have a First Amendment right to do that. And if the FDNY or the brass doesn't back off on them, I will absolutely make sure that I would represent any one of these firefighters for free. And, or I will bring them to other lawyers who will do it. And there is a phalanx of us ready to do so. So I dare you.
Marc Randazza gets the final word. Thank you very much for coming on. Appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Go to NewsNationNow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.